Welcome to our morning devotions, and today we're at Shorter Catechism question number 8. The last question we considered in question 7 was, what are the decrees of God? And now the question 8 follows on from that and asks, how does God execute his decrees? How does God work out his eternal purpose, his plans, all that he has foreordained is going to happen? Well, the answer that it gives is, God executeth his decrees in the works of creation and providence. So, there's two ways that God works out what he has planned. The works of creation, in making this world and all that has been formed. In Revelation chapter 4 and verse 11, it says this, as God is praised, Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honour and power, for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created. And one of the things we looked at as we think of God's decrees, he has planned everything for his glory. And so the world he has made is for his glory. Paul says in Romans 1, it reveals indeed the qualities of God. Now we'll be looking at that a bit more in the next question. Next question we'll be looking at. So God executes his decrees, first of all, in his works of creation, the God who has made everything. And secondly, God works out his decrees in his works of providence. Now, providence is how God sustains this world, how God provides this world, how God, after creation, controls everything that will continue to take place. We'll read again, this time from the book of Daniel, chapter 4. It says, He does according to his will in the army of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth. And none can stay his hand, or say unto him, What do thou do? And so, there in Daniel, they are told that God does as he pleases. None can hold him back. His power, his greatness is such that indeed he's in control of everything. So God has plans and purposes for this world, plans and purposes so that indeed he'll be glorified. They're worked out in creation, they're worked out in providence. Now let's think of this personally for a moment or two. You have been made so that you would see the greatness of God, that you would honour God, that you would come to know God. God has made you different from the animals. He's made you in his image. That means you're made with a soul to know him, to find your purpose in life in honouring him. And you'll only find real purpose and real dignity as a human being when you understand you were made for his glory. The problem of sin is all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Paul says in Romans 3, sin takes us away from our purpose in life of honouring and glorifying God, of giving him the worship and praise that indeed he deserves. We're made to be worshippers, and we will be worshippers, but the problem is we'll worship the wrong thing unless we come to Christ and experience his salvation. And so, for you personally, you have been made to know God, to worship God, to glorify God. And then think about providence. God has protected you. God has sustained your life for that purpose. Everything that's happened in your life is for a goal that you will indeed bring God that glory, that honour that he deserves. So God's in control of everything. Yes, this brings us mystery, of course, but it brings us great hope. He's in control of everything. He's the God who works out his purposes. He works out his decree in his works of creation and providence. The Creator, the Sustainer of all. Amen.